And it was, anyway, and there were two entrances because you couldn't have a bar entrance and a dance hall entrance at the same. It had to be like separate premises. Actually, I think it was here and here. And so this was a dance hall when you get inside that little part. And then this came into the bar, and then this was a tech room. And the whole house, just right at that first crease there, that was the top of the house. And it only went a little ways back, and I'll show you.
Wow.
So someone else bought it, and they had been living here for quite some time. And then Kent's parents, in the late 60s, wanted to kind of have a country-ish area away from the city where they could go. And he was probably a teacher at that time. He became a principal. But so he'd have summers off, and they'd all kind of stay up here and enjoy sort of like country life. Okay? So when they got it, it was obviously no longer a bar and dance hall or anything.
Yeah.
But, okay, then come on in.
Do you mind if I record some of this, or do you prefer I don't?
I don't care.
Okay.
It's just, I'm not, I'll just do my best.
Cutie.
I have been in the family for over 40 years. So. Okay, so, lights aren't cooperating right now.
Okay.
But, so this had
Nothing
been
in
a
this
tech
house.
room,
I know, it's a little bedroom.
and they made it into their room. And when you come in here,
Oh, that's right.
they had different screens that they would put to look like different scenery and stuff. But if no one was here, they could open it and feel like the entire house was their bedroom.
Oh, that's funny.
So this
So
was
this one
Mom's
on this
side,
side.
and that was Dad's side, and they used to say they each had their own room
Oh, that's
because they had their own entrances. Okay. And then this goes out onto a little deck. Do you see where the wood goes across there? That was the end of the house on this side. And then over here was apparently had been the dance hall. But so his parents had a wood stove here, and it would help heat the house. And Doris Jones was an artist, and you will find her artwork throughout the home. And she was especially talented with Native American paintings. She was best in pastels, but she also did oils, and I don't believe she ever tried watercolor. But she was amazing. And I will tell you that Dad, the light switch for this room's on that wall, so I didn't bother to go over there. Dad, when they got married, Mom had told him how as a kid they moved a lot, and they were never able to put their stamp on a home due to her father's work. And he worked for the government as a veterinarian, and he service horses and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, so she always had white walls and could never hang anything on the walls. And so Dad said, you can paint anything any way you want. And she did. Their home in Billings, when you first come in, there's a whole wall that looks like an outdoor scene. And then in the family room, all the doors have scenery on them. And she just had such incredible talent. It was amazing. Okay, so this is a bedroom here. It's a fairly small one.
Is it got a double bed in it? I'm just
Yes.
trying to think where.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so that would work for Donna and her.
Okay. And then this room, they call it the bunk room. In here, sorry.
I love that artwork. She was talented.
Nobody will be sleeping here, but at one time they had lots of little kids. Like this pulls out and that's another bed, and then they have other mattresses under there, and they could house
Wow.
a ton of little kids in here.
Yeah.
Now, with the course of time and everything, things need to be cleaned up and refurbished and stuff. But this is a cool painting that Mom did, and I think this is the one that was called 100% wool with a touch of gold.
That is really cool.
Anyway, she was just something. You'll learn more as we go through the house.
Yes.
Okay. So this was the original kitchen. I thought the light was there somewhere. Is it this side? There. If you could flip that. This was the original kitchen. And I stopped right there. And they had a wood stove here and a regular, that was the oven and stove kind of thing, but it was by wood. And then there's a bedroom here, but it's just a storeroom now. And at one point, she decided she wanted to jazz it up. So these are not her paintings, but she got copies of other artwork and glued them on there. On this side, you do find, I think it's all hers. But these ones are not her artwork.
That's so cool.
And so these are little copies of some of her Indian prints and stuff.
Beautiful.
So the time came when they had one bathroom, which is right in here. Go through the swing doors, open that back one. And it says water hole. And this bathroom, you can come take a peek.
Do you want to go ahead or you've got the...
She has wallpaper from the 1800s newspaper
Oh,
stuff.
I love that. That's cool.
And she it was really cute the way she jazzed this up. You can come in too. Have you been there?
Okay, yeah.
And the time came after the sons were getting married and people were pregnant coming up here. There was one bathroom. So they decided they needed to, add a bathroom. So
Is this a fridge?
it's a freezer. Plenty of fridge and freezer room around here. So what happened is there had been a rec room right behind there. And they asked a builder, would you be able to make a bathroom there? And as he went and looked at the structural integrity and everything, he said, this has to be torn down. The foundation underneath is not secure. This rec room had to be torn down. And so they kind of decided that they would go ahead and do that and have another bathroom put in, but let me show you how she did it. They added the kitchen
Good for us.
during the remodel, so this is an industrial range.
Beautiful.
Double oven.
And more refrigerators. These are probably what you're gonna be using, is
Yes.
these. So they decided to make another bathroom, and this
Go with Brenda. take your
is
cup.
what ended up happening. They have 3 more.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So this one's a big one, and this is also for like wheelchair accessible if you need it. And then these are little bitty ones.
Okay.
Or like stalls,
Yeah, kind of.
just so you could go.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's the laundry. This goes out into the back.
Double sinks.
Yep. So they decided at one point they were going to, as they were doing the add-on, they kind of talked about what all they wanted, and they got hold of a local builder. I don't know if he was a builder by trade. I think he was a rancher by trade, but he also did a lot of contract work. And he did the neighbor's house and whatnot. So anyway, and they're all related to each other. It's a community here in Red Lodge and Luther. He said to them, when we do this addition, what pitch do you want on your roof? And they're like, what do you mean? And he said, we just have to decide the angle of the roof or whatever. And he said, well, I did the next door neighbor's house. They said, well, you can do that pitch. That's fine. They came back like 3 weeks later to see progress. And it had gone up to 3 stories in order to have that steep of pitch. Since they had a flat, long building, it went up way, way high, which if you step there and look up, you'll see how high it went. And they were kind of shocked. Wow. They thought, oh my gosh, do we pay them to tear it down? Or do we just go with it? And, and they decided that they would just go with it.
It really opens it up.
And
though.
all of a
That's
sudden,
right.
things got much more roomy, much bigger. This is the original mirror from the bar,
Oh, cool.
with the exception that it had a bunch of individual painting in the corners there and there. She did leave the ones across the front that he had done. After many years, she just really didn't like the artwork on it and being an artist, and she said, you know, it's our home. She took it off, and some of us were really disappointed because it had blue sky and fields and, you know, cattle, and anyway, we really loved it, but she said, oh, it's
Gotta
done.
go.
She already took it off, and oh well.
Too late, huh?
Yep. So anyway, and she named the home Tanglewood. So whenever you refer to it, you can just say Tanglewood and people will know what you're talking about. So as you look around, you see a lot of her art.
Yeah, it's awesome.
These were unfinished pieces that were in a portfolio, and people felt, why keep them hidden, you know, after she passed. This, I'm not sure all the history, Kent would know better, but Cliff and Diane, I don't know if you guys know them, but Cliff is Kent's brother. And Diane's family owned a ranch out here. And they were the first to successfully breed beef and buffalo. And they called them cattle, and somebody else came up with it and said beefalo, and that stuck. So that was always a sore point if you said beefalo to them, because they did it first and it was cattle. Anyway, this was a hybrid, and Diane and Cliff have, I think they still own it, but they have allowed it to be up here. It's so perfect right there. But that is a very valuable,
I mean, it has to be there.
yeah, it really
I was
is.
gonna send a picture out and show everybody, but I figured they need to have
They
that
need to see.
experience
And there's
for-
also, this was something Mom did. She didn't normally do anything that was, you know, modern art like. But this was something she designed specifically for that spot and for that set of antlers.
Just be careful.
And when you step back, you can see it a little better, but it has kind of the headdress and
Yeah,
everything, and it's just gorgeous. So, and, yep, and a few years ago, we went on a trek. Now it's been quite a few years ago, I guess. I'm thinking maybe it was like 20 years ago. And both stakes went on this trek, and it was several days, and it was following pioneer trails.
Right.
And anyway, when they came back, they rode in a car hauling gear, you know. She painted this, and it's just some of the
Maybe
things
shut the
that she
door.
saw while we were on the trek.
I can't get it all right now anyway.
Okay, so you can see it, open it up, and we had way more bathrooms. There's a deck out here,
Yeah, which let me,
and it'll be a real nice eating spot for you if it's cool enough. And then the red lodge.